Hey friends, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast for women who want to find freedom in both their life and in their business. I help women find the courage to fulfill their calling in life without sacrificing their faith or their family. In this show, I give you my very best life and business advice, plus bring you world-class guests and give you a healthy dose of Jesus every single time. So buckle in, my friend. I'm so excited you're here today. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the podcast. This is Jennifer. This is the Jennifer Allwood Show, and this is podcast episode number 271. Did you see the announcement that we've recently hit 4 million downloads of the podcast? Okay, first of all, thank you. You guys are amazing. You're literally thebomb.com. Don't go Google that, bomb.com, by the way. But you're literally amazing, and we're so appreciative of you. Jason and I did a special episode. We had a Q&A and let you guys ask us anything for the podcast to celebrate. And it's no shock that you guys listen to that. And it's one of the most downloaded podcasts on the Jennifer Allwood Show. And I've told my team, I'm like, do they like Mr. Magic better than they like me? Not kidding. It's fine. Everything's fine. But if you are a person who is in business, and you might want to listen to that, have your spouse listen to it. If you are a super passionate person, you might want to also listen to that podcast. If you have questions about the way Jason and I interact both at home and at work, go listen to it. I think it was fun. So you just go type in on Google, Jennifer Allwood podcast. It'll be one of the last ones that came up, and we so appreciate you. So listen, I was on the gram this morning. I asked my kids is that what I'm supposed to actually keep calling it? The gram. I was on IG this morning. That's what I would normally say. And I did a little reel about those of us who have seniors graduating right now, because our second kiddo is getting ready to graduate. And some of you may remember that our first kiddo, the first of the four, Noah, graduated in 2020. So, the world was a dumpster fire in 2020. Graduation wasn't normal. There was no prom. School was out after March. So we didn't have all the things that we have going on with Easton right now, meaning, last minute, like Mother's Tea and, track banquet and award ceremony and all of these things. And plus it was just weird and interesting and different, like planning the party and all of that. So I did a reel this morning on Instagram about just anybody else on the struggle bus. And it was kind of funny, but also kind of not, because, it's kind of an overwhelming season. And every day I get women in my business groups who talk about how overwhelmed they are. And I thought, you know what, I want to come and teach on overwhelm, because it's a busy time of year for a lot of people when, it's May and it's the end of the school year, and we've got 4 kids. So that means on top of Easton's graduating, we just moved Noah home from college last week and into his first apartment. He is out on his own officially. We've got Ava getting ready to get out of middle school. We've got the little one who still has spelling works that she has to be tested on every Friday. So there's that. So I want you to know, and I'm still running a business. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, I think I have some tips and things that's going to help you in this podcast. And I want you to know this is going to be fast, because when you're overwhelmed, the last thing you need is more things to think about and add to your plate. Okay. So I'm going to give you some concrete things, and we're going to keep this bus moving. But first, I want to just read to you a really quick podcast review from Tanya in Minnesota, who says, "This is such a refreshing and no-nonsense source of inspiration in this podcast. Jennifer balances truth and the truth so well. I love to listen on to such a driven daughter of the King." And I just want to say, Tanya, thank you. Thank you so much for that. It's super important to me that people see Christ through me. So thank you so much for your kind words. And every time you guys leave reviews, we see them as a team. And I thank you. I can't thank you enough for that. So Tanya, I just pray a blessing over you and your family and everything you set your hand to there in Minnesota. And I just want to thank you for just your faithfulness and listening to the Jennifer Allwood Show. So thank you so much. I also think I just stumbled on that word, the Jennifer Allwood Show. It's really funny. Like when we go put our name in at, restaurants or somebody calls my last name in a doctor's office or something, rarely can they say Allwood. It's always something strange like that, like Alwood. Isn't that weird? I think it's weird. I think it's kind of weird. I feel like it's a really simple last name. Anywho, let's get to overwhelm. Okay. First of all, I want you to know that telling yourself you're overwhelmed, and I'm going to put on my new life coaching hat for just a moment. Okay. Some of you know that I am just getting ready to finish up life coaching school at the end of this month and will be a certified life coach instructor. But being overwhelmed is literally, it's just a story we tell ourselves. And a lot of times it's a story that we tell ourselves to explain away our emotions, maybe to explain away our behavior, our short fuse, the fact that we're a little chaotic. But I'm so overwhelmed is often just a story that we tell ourselves. And what I would like to challenge you on is, what actually does it mean to be overwhelmed? Because sometimes we mean different things. Like sometimes overwhelmed means there's a lot to do. Sometimes we mean, I don't know where to start in my long laundry list of things to do. Other times we might mean, I've just got lots of feelings about everything that's going on in life right now. So we like put this blanket word of overwhelm on top of it. And what really matters though is what we feel about and think about the word overwhelm. Because when we are saying to ourselves, I'm so overwhelmed, it instantly will start bringing up some thoughts about that. Okay, so that must mean I'm not able to manage my life very well. That must mean I've got way too much on my plate. If I'm overwhelmed, it must mean that I don't have it together like all these other Instagram moms. When I'm feeling super overwhelmed, it must mean that I am, doing something wrong, that I need to let one part of my life go in order to really be able to focus on another. I'm so overwhelmed, so that means I can get off of the disciplines of exercise or eating or whatever. Like we make the word overwhelmed mean certain things. And then there are thoughts attached to that, and we behave out of those thoughts. So one of the things that I would like to just challenge you with, if you are in a season where things feel overwhelming, is first of all, watch your words. Watch your words. Because when you say to yourself, I feel overwhelmed, you'll usually start acting out of that. So what do you do when you're overwhelmed? Well, for me, I'll go through a bag of Hershey's chocolate kisses like it's my jab. I'll pull out of meetings for work. I'll be shorter with the kids and Jason than what I want to be. I'll find myself letting exercise go. And then what ends up happening when I do all those things is then I feel even more overwhelmed. So I say I'm overwhelmed, and then I think about what that represents. Those thoughts start making me behave in certain ways that I'm actually supporting. I'm like showing myself evidence. See, I'm overwhelmed. I'm doing all these things. Well, it's because it started with the thought of being overwhelmed. So I want you, first of all, to watch your words and then to watch your thoughts. And you can do that in either order, but both need addressed. Okay. The Bible says that both life and death, come from the power of the tongue. So watch what you are saying about yourself and to yourself or to others about yourself. Okay. So watch your words, because there's power in that. So shift the I'm so overwhelmed to I have got so much to do. Thank you, Jesus, that I've got people in my household that can help me, the resources to do it, that I've got legs that can walk, that I can get it done. Thank you, Lord, that Easton's graduation is not today, but next week. Like it has a different vibe than I'm so overwhelmed. So number one, watch your words. Number two, watch your internal words, which are your thoughts. Because your thoughts are going to then produce your actions, which give you the results of just showing yourself, yep, you're absolutely right. You are overwhelmed. You can't do it all. So number one, that's like number 1, 2, and 3. Watch your words, watch your words, watch your words. Okay. Another couple of things you can do when you are feeling like you're overwhelmed. Do some things like, getting off of all the email lists that you're on. Unsubscribe. Turn off the dang dingers on your phone, okay? And nobody needs all the notifications going all stinking day. Some of you are selling products and you think to yourself, well, I've immediately got to respond to a question. No, you don't. That's a story you have made up in your head about how quickly you need to address things. You don't have to address things ever. Now you lose a client over it, a potential client. But it's even that idea of it's a potential client. And what if they want to buy something? And what if my lack of response makes them go elsewhere? Okay. What if also you answer so fast that they think to themselves, well, this person must not be very busy. I wonder why. And so please don't feel like you have to jump through hoops immediately. Turn off your email, take email off of your phone. I gave you guys a tip a while back that I have put all of my social medias into a folder on the second screen of my phone. So I have to swipe to it. The folder is called Be Intentional, and all of my social medias are in there so that I don't just look down and see. Because if I look right now, I have 27 emails waiting, 45 Voxer messages from the women in my mastermind, 14 Instagram DMs on one of my 2 Instagram accounts. And I have turned off Facebook notifications, so I don't even ever know what that number is because it overwhelms me with, 365,000 followers on Facebook. So turn off all those notifications. You don't need them. Okay. Number 3. So it's watch your words, turn off notifications, get off email lists, prioritize the things that you have to do when you're overwhelmed. So there's only 1 out of 2 things that you need to really focus on. Okay. If you're in business, number 1, you focus on the things that make you money. Everything else can wait. Everything else can wait. Redoing your Pinterest bio right now, not important when you're just trying to stay above water. Okay. Redoing, your Instagram profile picture, not super important when you've got a million other things that need done. Focus on the things that have to be focused on in order for your family to eat. Focus on the things that you have to focus on in order for business to keep going. Okay. Everything else can honestly wait. Are there lots and lots of things that need done all the time in business? Absolutely. Yes. But friends, I promise you, it doesn't matter how much money you have coming in. Your laundry list of things that you want to do or think you need to do or should do in business will always be longer than what you have the capacity for. I promise you that. So when I am feeling overwhelmed, I stop and think, what do I have to do today? I actually canceled myself out of a team meeting today. You know what? I've got a team so that I don't have to be there. I don't have to do a team meeting. Would it be nice if I showed up for my team every single week? Absolutely. In fact, this is the 2nd week in a row that I've been like, team, look, I love you. You've got this. I mean, Jenna and Nell are completely able to lead all of that without me. Don't get in the weeds. That is a old restaurant term from when I used to be a really good waitress, a really bad bartender. But don't get in the weeds over the things that are not bringing dollars to the bottom line of your business. Because if you're not making money, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And I say that with so much love in my heart. But in order to graduate from hobby to business, there has to be income coming in. Okay. So either do the things that are income generating, or when you're really overwhelmed, do the things that are the biggest, hardest, and scariest first. When you are most able to think clearly. Some of you are early morning risers, do it then. Don't wait when you're already feeling a certain way. You're already feeling like you have so much to do. Don't wait until you have 0 energy and 0 capacity to try to do those big, hard, and scary things. It doesn't work well. It doesn't work well. You've got to recognize how you operate and operate wherever you're gifted. Both in terms of like, I know I'm more gifted on video than I am on stage. I just know that about myself. So that's why I like to be on people's summits. I like to go be a guest coach in their group. I like to be on their podcast. I'm going to use my time doing those things and not doing the things where I don't feel like I can be most used and use most of my gifts, which is like on a personal stage, face to face. So know what your gifts are, know what time of day you're gifted in, and do the big, hard, and scary things then. All right. And the last thing I want to tell you is this: rest. Listen, when you're feeling super overwhelmed, it is tempting to think you've got to go from the break of dawn till the break of dawn. Did I say that right? Yeah, the break of dawn. Yeah. Till, midnight. And listen, it is going to kill your adrenals, especially as a business owner. It's going to put you into adrenal fatigue. Your body keeps score. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that book, but you've got to rest. Jesus rested. You have got to rest. There has got to be a day when you're not focused on work. You will think to yourself, okay, logically, I'm just going to get more behind. And that's another story we tell ourselves. But listen, if you're a follower of Christ, like everything in the kingdom is upside down. If you want to, lead, you got to go low. If you want to be first, you got to put yourself last. If you if you want to make money, you give money. Like everything is just kind of backwards, right? If you want to stop being overwhelmed and do better in business, stop doing business. Rest. You'll be shocked at the mental capacity you come back with, at how refreshed your body and your brain will be, and how you're able to show up for your business in such a better way. And then also, of course, pray about it. Lord, where am I spinning in circles that I need some help. Lord, who could I hire in my business to get some help? Lord, what do I need to let go of that I have clung to because of ego that are not helping the bottom line at all? That's for somebody. Who's that for? Lord, who do I need to partner with to make some things easier? What do I need to learn so that I get off this hamster on a wheel cycle that I find myself currently on that is not sustainable for long term? Listen, some of you have been doing every single thing in your business for so long, you don't see how it can be done any other way. And I tell you this with the utmost love in my heart, but that is completely attached to your ego and your pride. Completely. If you think that anyone that you watch on social media or on a television show or on a stage or whatever, if you think that they are a man of one wearing all of the hats, and by man, I mean man or woman, I promise you're wrong. There is nobody that gets a business of any size and begins to really grow that thing that is usually able to do it alone. There just isn't. There just isn't. And so get help if needed. Some of you need to get into a group where you're surrounded by like-minded individuals. My mastermind, my Creators Next Level Mastermind, it will be opening sometime in June. If you'd like an email from me when we're going to open that, so you could get into a room with women who are exactly where you are, who love Jesus and also love business, you can go to creatorsnextlevel.com and just put in your email. We'll send you an email sometime in June when it's open. What you don't need to do when you're overwhelmed is just think that you can continue to muscle your way through it, push your way through it, do more in less time, get less sleep and keep going. It's not sustainable, my friend. I'm telling you from somebody who has been there and done that. There is a better way. All right. So listen, love you guys so much. If you would forward this to somebody else who you know that's in business, who might be overwhelmed during this time of year. And I will see you guys on the podcast again next week. Until then, bless you. Bye-bye.
Friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you come back for every episode and that you share the Jennifer Allwood Show with your friends and family. Every time I see you guys post about it on Instagram or Facebook or something, it just makes me do a little happy. So thank you. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast if you never want to miss an episode. So you can go to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify or any of the other podcasting places and subscribe each week so that every week you get the new episode when it releases. So just know that I love bringing you relevant content. I love bringing you great guests. And one of the ways you can help us here at Team Allwood is by leaving the podcast a review. So if you have just a second to do that, would you go over and leave a review for the Jennifer Allwood Show? Thank you again. You're amazing. I'm honored to be here. Until next week. Bye-bye.